These are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome. My name is Tammy Donahue and I'm the incoming chair of the new Investigator Mentoring Committee at the Orthopedic Research Society. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, which is Maximize Your ORS Membership. It's sponsored by the ORS New Investigator Mentoring Committee and the ORS Membership Committee. Please be aware we are recording this webinar and it will be posted on the ORS website. You'll be notified via email when it is ready for viewing. All webinar participants will be muted during the presentation. If you have questions, please type them into the questions box in the menu located on the right side of your screen, and we'll address these questions at the end of the presentation. We have two speakers today, Dr. Alliston and Dr. Hankinson. Our first speaker will be Dr. Kurt Hankinson from the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Hankinson is an associate professor of musculoskeletal research and orthopedic surgery. He's a veterinarian and the Dean W. Richardson Chair for Equine Disease Research. He's an associate professor of musculoskeletal research in the School of Vet Med and an associate professor of orthopedic surgery in the Perelman School of Medicine. He began his career at the University of Michigan as a faculty member in the Orthopedic Research Laboratories in 2002 before moving to the University of Pennsylvania in 2006. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Hankinson. And we are looking forward to you sharing your insight and expertise with us today.
Well, it's good to be here, and good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you joining us today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the membership composition, some membership benefits, and then also take everyone through the website, the ORS website. And for those of you who have not been through it, we'll navigate through that a little bit before we join my colleague Tamara. So the ORS mission is to advance the global orthopedic research agenda through excellence in research, education, collaboration, communication, and advocacy. The vision is that we will be the world's leading forum for dissemination of new musculoskeletal research findings, which I believe that we do achieve. The core values that guide our mission and our vision are ones of research and the idea of facilitating the rapid exchange and communication of current and innovative musculoskeletal research, while from an educational perspective, encouraging and fostering the development and professional growth of the members. Our other core values include the concepts of communication and collaboration, where we hope to build bridges from the society to important stakeholders, both in academics and in industry and in public policy realm, to advance orthopedic research, and then the concept of advocacy, promoting the importance of musculoskeletal research and the need for increased sustainable funding to the public. So what I think makes the ORS such a very unique organization is that our membership is quite uniquely multidisciplinary. We have a group of investigators, members who have very unique scientific approaches that are both diverse and innovative, and that the other aspect of the ORS that's quite unique is this concept of bridging the basic and clinical sciences, and really it represents this organization that operates in this translational space. And then I think the other aspect about that, what that multidisciplinary aspect promotes, is this opportunity to collaborate. So if we look at the composition of the ORS and we consider the demographics by primary discipline, you can see in this pie chart that the bioengineers represent the largest segment of the ORS membership, but only outnumber the clinicians by a little bit. Both are listed at 34%. The biologists are a smaller composition part of this. Well, you know, what's interesting, though, if you really consider this, many of the people who consider themselves bioengineers are operating in the biological space, and then obviously the clinicians as well. And then another smaller percentage of the organization, kind of equivalent to the biologist, consider themselves unknown, and perhaps because they feel like they're operating in all three of those realms as well. If we consider the primary employment type, the majority, almost or 3/4 of the organization, is composed of folks that are in academics while a smaller composition of the organization is either unknown, the purple in the pie chart, or is in industry, and then government employees represent a smaller composition of the whole entire membership. If we consider the membership composition by specialty, the basic science as a specialty is the predominant specialty, followed closely by those who would list themselves as being applied science, so the dark blue piece of the pie. And then another smaller segment who list themselves as clinical. And then another small percentage, 13%, who consider themselves unknown, and then an even smaller percentage who consider themselves general administration. The composition of the membership, while largely being composed of people from North America, does have an international composition, and this is something that we are very interested in continuing to build, is to build our international membership. Currently, about 80% of the membership is from North America, while 9% of it is from Asia, 10% of it is from Europe, and then a smaller slice is from Australia, approximately 1%, and then Africa, the Middle East at 18%, and then South Americans represent a much smaller segment at 0.07%. So by and large, we have been an organization of primarily of North American orthopedic scientists, but we are extremely interested in continuing to increase our international reach. So some benefits of the membership, one of the important ones that we discuss is the reduced registration fee for the ORS meetings. So as a member, your registration fee is reduced. Another important membership benefit is the ability to share research through a variety of communications, some of these which I'll go through as I navigate the website, the On the Horizon publication, the AOS Orthopedic Knowledge Online group, and then obviously what we're going through right now, ORS webinars. In addition, as members, you're eligible for ORS funding opportunities and some of which are exclusively available only to ORS members, including collaborative exchange awards and travel awards, but also, as I'll go through on the website, the ORS tries to highlight funding opportunities that are open to people outside the community, but at least that are most applicable to orthopedic research. ORS members receive a monthly subscription to the Journal of Orthopedic Research. They receive invitations to ORS networking events, and importantly, ORS members do not pay a fee to submit manuscripts to the Journal of Orthopedic Research. As well, another important membership benefit is membership to the My ORS part of the ORS website, and we'll go on to that, and then also the members-only group that is on LinkedIn. As a member of the ORS, you have there's extensive opportunities for leadership. As a leader, you can influence the future direction of the society and musculoskeletal research overall. You can serve on ORS committees. There's both elected and volunteer positions for this. We have calls and nominations, call for nominations and volunteers both in the summer and the fall. Other things that can happen is you can serve on task force. So there are occasional task force that we ask for volunteers, and those are often emails that will be announced, or you can email the ORS directly. You can serve as a reviewer for the abstracts for the yearly meeting, or serve as a moderator for the annual meeting as well. And then there's important other additional volunteering opportunities that take place at the annual meeting too. So now I'd like to switch over, and I'm going to go to the browser, and we'll navigate the website a little bit. So this is the launch page, the home page for the ORS, and it changes weekly, and to provide the most current ORS news regarding both the annual meeting, abstract deadlines, and other meeting deadlines, and also serves this opportunity to promote and give notice to award recipients. So across the top banner is a constantly changing banner that I can click through here that announces important things. So for instance, the annual meeting is on here at this place. across this banner. So that's just a little bit of a launch. Coming down from the banner, you see the information about the annual meeting. So the annual meeting is obviously featured quite prominently on the website right now. So we can click on the annual meeting and go directly to the annual meeting website from just below the banner. Although it's loading a little slow. Okay, though, there we go. So here's the annual meeting launch page where you can see that you can both register as well as book a room, go through information concerning late-breaking abstract submission, which just took place yesterday, so it's that has expired now, but also additional abstract information, some of the ancillary meetings that occur, and so you can page through that to see all of this various information about the ORS meeting. So this is the place on the web page to definitely go for the annual meeting. Also, there is a link for booking the hotel directly off of that intermediate point on the page. The ORS Connects point over here, this third item below the banner importantly is the My ORS button, which we won't do quite yet. We'll do that at the end. So here's the My ORS button that we can go to, but also LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as a mark for emailing the ORS directly. One of the new things that's been put up on the website recently is this thank you to the donors to the ORS Research Development Fund. So they're being listed over here on the sidebar. In addition, there's another meeting announcement PDF. And then in the middle intermediate point of the page are opportunities for advocacy and outreach for getting involved in career centers. The other thing you'll see on this is this set of additional tabs that can get you to both the annual meeting, grants and funding, membership directory, member login, and member profile. Some of these same tabs are reproduced at the top of the page above the flash banner. And so we'll go up to this point now and we'll kind of talk about some of these pull-down menus from the top. So the home obviously brings you back to the front page. The About will give you some information concerning both the mission and the ORS history, as well as the structure. So here's where we can see both the current board, committee membership, and composition, as well as what the different committees do, as well as the staff members who play such an integral role in the running of the organization. The other tabs that are across the top are the meeting and education, and so we're just at the meeting source, but we can go back. If we look down here, we have the 2014 annual meeting, but there's also other meetings that the ORS is involved in. The most recent one that's being highlighted is this ORS ISMMS New Frontiers and Intended meeting. So this is a meeting that's going to take place in 2014 at Mount Sinai in New York. We can go back here, and there's other meetings, including the combined meeting and other ancillary meetings that could be of importance to the membership. So these are listed in sort of calendar format here. If we go back to the home page again on this meeting and education tab, and we look at the education column, this is where we'll see listed annual meeting webcasts, the ORS webinars, information for clinician scholar development, as well as the ORS OREF AAOS New Investigator Workshop. The Awards and Funding tab lists different granting opportunities. The one that's being highlighted currently is this Arthritis Foundation, tab, which the application deadline has passed, but that is a link from the ORS website. There's also these ORS Achievement Awards and these Early Career New Investigator Awards as well that are listed here. So this lists both these Collaborative Exchange Awards as well as the ORS OREF Travel Awards in Orthopedic Research Translation, and as well there's a tab for the NIRA Awards as well, which it takes place at the annual meeting. So those are all listed with the awards and funding, and then the final tab, the general grants and funding, is just a list that will take you to other granting agencies that also fund orthopedic research. The next tab over that's important is the publications. And so this is where you can search the abstracts. So the abstract search can only be done via a login. So here is what that form looks like. So you can search from 2013 to 1999. You can search by author, by keyword, by title. But again, this is a place where to access these abstracts online, you need ORS membership. The other things that are listed in the publications are, again, this ability to order an abstract. The JOR, the Journal of Orthopedic Research, is listed here as well, and you can go directly to the JOR from this tab. There are the, going back to the home page here, there are also the JOR virtual issues that are tabulated here, the Basic Science Journal, the JAOS on the horizon, and then also this Orthopedic Knowledge Online Journal, the AKOJ, which is a partnership with the AAOS Basic Science Group. And so this is, again, something that you can only access with ORS member privileges, but this provides access to this ortho portal, which lists both a wide variety of journals that are associated with AAOS, as well as allowing you to browse different orthopedic knowledge online subspecialties, so adult reconstruction, basic science, foot and ankle, on down through the various specialties in orthopedic surgery. So that's the ortho portal, and that again is something that you need to be a ORS member to be able to access from the publications tab on the home page. There is the Join the ORS tab, which allows you to submit a member application as well as to see additional member benefits. There is a tab for the media, which lists all media releases. And then finally is the ORS members and the My ORS tab. And so you can reach the My ORS from that, as well as this tab again here, this ORS Connects in the middle of the page. So let's go to the My ORS at this point, and we can navigate through the My ORS just a little bit here to see what it has to offer. So I've already signed in here, and you can see that this is it's my personal workspace here. So here it has a welcome Kurt. I haven't completed my profile yet, but it's a place where I could post a profile picture. It allows you to look at networks that you could be involved with, RSS feeds, subscriptions and documents, mentoring relationships, contacts, messages. There's a directory for finding members that you might be interested in, including advanced search that will allow you to search by discipline. Here's a community tab, which allows you to see different communities that have been created within the My ORS. And so if we go to this communities, you can see here's the various communities that have been created. There is an annual meeting of the ORS community, and so you can go to the community and see messages related to the meeting on that. It will list whether you're already a member of a community. So because there's not an active join here, this means that I'm considered a member of that community already. And then there are other communities that could be joined as well, and so there's a little join button if you're interested in being involved with the discussion that's going on in that. So there's one for bone tissue, hierarchical stimulations, developmental biomechanics, for the growth factors, RIG, intervertebral disc, and so they go on, and more are being created every day. So those are the communities that allow you to be involved with people of like interests. So what else is in here? So there's events are listed. So there's an event listing. the ORS meeting is obviously on here, but I can also add other events directly into the My ORS. There is a blog, so you can view different blogs from the My ORS. So here's a blog from Brenda on the annual meeting, the 60th meeting. Tamara has a blog that she has started on webinar plans, and so this is a place where blogs are found. Another place is another tab here to consider in the My ORS is the mentoring tab, and so here it is where you can find a mentor or a mentee. So you can register to be either a mentor, or if you're interested in finding a mentor, you can find that. There's both a find a mentor and a find a mentee match, so you can go to that and you can search based on what sort of venue you hope to use, the mentoring sorts of topics you'd be interested in helping somebody with or that you'd like mentorship in, and then perhaps most importantly, your primary and secondary interests. So you can go in and let's see, I'm a fracture biologist and interested in bone, and I can find some mentees perhaps that have registered that are interested in that would be interested in my mentorship in those areas. Okay. So that's the mentoring phase of this. Also from the My Profile, something that I wanted to hit upon is the My Contacts. So this is where you can keep track of contacts that you maybe met at the meeting. So here's a list of a few of my contacts, people that I know, and you can keep track of them and what they might be posting onto the My ORS website, to either blogs or in communities, and it is a way to stay in touch with colleagues, particularly colleagues I think that you might have an opportunity to meet at the meeting. Finally, from the My ORS, you can head back to the homepage of the My ORS, and from this tab, so you can go back to the ORS homepage, and here we are back to the ORS homepage, and that I think is a quick but hopefully somewhat useful overview of the ORS website at this point. And now at this point I'd be happy to take any questions before my colleague Tamara takes over.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Hankinson. I think we can all navigate the website much better at this point. I wanted to also mention that another benefit is that their e-updates are sent out to members each Sunday, which includes some general information and annual meeting updates. So one question that's come in is, so you had mentioned some leadership roles, but what's the best way to increase your visibility to be an active member, if you will, to participate in society if you're still early in your career, say perhaps a graduate student or a postdoc?
So I think that's a great question, and I think that Tamara, you might be the best person to answer that from the perspective of the new investigator committee, because I think that if I look back on my my 15+ years in the ORS, it used to be, I think, more difficult than it is now, because now with the new investigator committee playing such an active role and having in sort of really increasing those opportunities, I think that that's a definite good way to do it. My personal opinion would also be that being active at the meeting, going and talking to people at posters, is a great way to get to know people and increase your visibility. You can serve as in the My ORS, you can indicate your interest in serving as an abstract reviewer. I think starting to serve as an abstract reviewer as early as possible is a great way to be involved. And so, Tamara, do you have any other thoughts on that?
Kurt, that's a really good summary of some of the things that you can do, and we'll go into a little more detail. And I would love to revisit this question again at the end, especially if we raise some ideas that spur new questions about exactly how to do it. But I would basically encourage anyone who's interested in getting more involved than they know how to get in touch with the new Investigator Mentoring Committee, which you can do through contacting the ORS office or contacting me or Tammy, who are on this webinar, because we really do want to have new investigators involved, and sometimes it's hard for us working at another institution to identify young new investigators who want to contribute other than those who are in our own institution. So make yourself visible, make yourself heard, and don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll help you get hooked in.
Okay.
Great, thank you. We have another question that's come in. Are there restrictions for associate members in regards to membership benefits?
So the associate members, is Matt on the call currently? So there are just, I think, some minor restrictions to what the associate members can do. And as I was looking at so from the homepage, from the Join the ORS, there's actually a list of the benefits of active associate affiliate and emeritus members. And so the one thing that associate members cannot do, at least as listed on the website, is serving as a moderator or a reviewer. But they have eligibility for all other aspects of the organization.
Kurt, that's correct. And there's also, for associates, there's opportunities to volunteer to committees within the ORS to kind of get an understanding of what the different committees do, such as advocacy or basic science committee, other committees to kind of that they're able to volunteer for, in addition to to get a feel for what the society offers. But you're right, they cannot be reviewers or moderators at that point yet. They also don't get access to the journal orthopedic research yet. That's really only for active members or affiliate members that have access to that piece. And but and it's just kind of, so that's some of the the difference between an active member and an associate member. But then hopefully once they do complete their training or they get their doctorate or their residency or whatever, they then can move from an associate to an active member and then expand on opportunities as reviewers, moderators, and so forth.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you. Again, I'm going to remind you, if you do have questions, please click on that question box in the menu on the right side of your screen. I'm going to move on to our second speaker today, which is Dr. Tamara Alliston. Dr. Tamara Alliston is an associate professor at the University of California, San Francisco in the Department of Orthopedic Surgery, where she leads the Laboratory for Skeletal Cell Signaling and Differentiation. She's a member of the ORS Board of Directors, and she is also the head of the Professional Development Council. She is the current chair of the new Investigator Mentoring Committee, which provides a wide array of professional development opportunities to new investigators in orthopedic research. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Alliston.
Great, thank you. Well, I would first of all like to welcome everybody who's on this webinar to the ORS. We're really happy that you have decided to make that commitment, and we're looking forward to hearing about your scientific discoveries as well as your contributions to the society as a whole. And really it's a two-way street. We really want to support you and your professional development as well. And I know some of the people on the call are maybe not, don't consider themselves new investigators, but I think quite a few of you do. And even those who are further along in their career, some of these things are still useful, either to you directly or are ways that you can help to support new investigators in our community. And I know this is something that the ORS and all of us really take a strong interest in the next generation of orthopedic surgeon scientists and orthopedic scientists. So this committee has several different goals, and the first of them is really to support development of specific professional skills. So obviously we're not going to teach you how to run a Western blot, but maybe we can help you learn some grant writing skills or some job search skills. And so we have a variety of different programs that are intended to help you develop these different professional skills, and we'll talk a bit more about those in a second. Another goal is to facilitate mentorship. Obviously there's the mentorship you get at your own institution with your own PI, but there are also great opportunities to get mentorship from people at other institutions, especially if there's an expert at some methodology that you would like to use in your research that you don't have access to locally, and also just for career mentorship and grant writing development as you move along in your career. So as Kurt showed you on the ORS website, we have a specific mechanism that's meant to help that occur more formally, but there are also lots of informal ways that that can happen. Another goal of the new investigator mentoring committee is to provide networking opportunities, and that's really invaluable in many different ways. And we strive to think about ways we can help that happen between new investigators and established investigators, as well as among peers, with potential employers, whether those are in academia or in industry. And very importantly, we also want to provide networking opportunities for new investigators with funding agencies, because this is a really important part of your scientific development. And we'll talk a little more about how at least we try to do that with NIH as well as with some of the others. With the ORS Connect and some of the other PR that gets sent out from ORS or things that are posted on the ORS website, we want to highlight the accomplishments of the new investigators in our community. You are the next generation. We want people to know who you are and what you're doing. So if you have some accomplishment, please don't hesitate to let the ORS know. If you've received a significant award, that's a great opportunity for us to highlight you to the whole community. And then the last of these big goals is to really promote the interests of new investigators within the ORS as well as the broader orthopedic research community. So that means advocating for funding, for training grants and program projects that help support the advancement of new investigators, advocating for roles for associate members in committee service, and whatever other ways we can support that, including making sure there are good opportunities for new investigators to access all of these things here at the annual meeting and in our other programming. So what are some specific examples of how we do that? At the annual meeting, there is a whole host of opportunity available to you. Of course, you're there primarily for the scientific opportunities, but while you're there, why don't you pick one or two other things that you can take advantage of to advance your professional development. So one example is the ORS Grant Writing Workshop, and this is a great program that's been going on for a long time. We have senior investigators in our field who are basically there spending a day giving you grant writing tips and helping you learn how to prepare a better proposal. We have a mock study section, and it's just really illuminating if you've never been able to be on the other side of the table when the grant is reviewed to see what are some of the things that can help you make a more strategic application. Another series of programs is called the Professional Advancement Session. I think these happen each of the different days of the ORS meeting. There's one, and these are the ones that we have going forward this year. There's one on identifying a great postdoctoral fellowship and how to make the most of your postdoc. Also great for mentors in how to be a supportive and productive mentor to your postdoc in accomplishing their goals. We have one on publishing your ideas, which also has to do with IP and balancing those decisions about when to publish and how to protect your IP, whether it's in academic or industrial pursuits. And then there's one on work-life balance. We have a Meet the Mentors lunch where new investigators have the opportunity to talk in a very small group about your specific questions as you move forward in your career. Likewise, a similar mechanism for interacting with industry members. And this next one, the Early Riser Mentoring Session, is a great example of how associate members have spoken up and made their voice heard. So a new investigator helped to develop these programs because she really felt there was a need for some additional programming to address these questions. And we found a way to get these things incorporated into the annual meeting. So some of these are choosing the right mentor for your career, understanding the job search process, and as I mentioned, the networking with funding agencies. We have an early riser NIH networking breakfast where the program officers from NIH are going to be basically sitting at each of several tables with new investigators, answering their questions about figuring out what's the right grant mechanism for them, how to navigate the NIH infrastructure to advance their goals in getting funding from NIH. In addition to these formal programs, there are lots of networking opportunities that we try to provide these different events, of course, again, for the scientific purpose, but these are great networking opportunities. ORS, more established investigators are eager to meet people in each of these venues. So the poster session is a great opportunity to go find a senior investigator that you want to meet, look at their poster number, go over and find them. There's a president's welcome reception. That's a great opportunity to meet new people. Something that's somewhere between structured and informal is the poster walking tour. So this is when a more established investigator who's an expert in a specific field like cartilage biology would say, hey, I'm going to lead a walking tour through 5 or 6 posters, and a group of people can sign up to go with them. And so it's a great chance to learn about science from their point of view, learn about making a great poster, as well as get to know that investigator. There's the Career Center, which helps you get connected with different job opportunities. And then there is a host of ancillary research meetings with the ORS annual meeting called Research Interest Groups, which are intended to be more discussion-oriented, more informal, to allow a lot of interaction on these different topics. So when you're registering for the annual meeting, you can look for each of these research interest groups and register for those as well. So aside from the annual meeting, we also have additional programming that is supporting these goals of professional development. One I wanted to specifically highlight is this new investigator workshop. It's kind of the big sister to the one that's held at the annual meeting, where it's a 2-day workshop that goes into greater detail about preparing grant applications. We have a lot of great experts that come and talk about insights in preparing these. The application deadline is in January. The meeting is held in Chicago in May, and here is a link so that you can get involved in that if it's at the right stage of your career to take advantage of it. If you have any questions on that, also you're welcome to get in touch with me after the webinar is over, and I can answer those. We also have professional development webinars similar to this, and the ones that we're planning for 2014 are navigating the publication process and landing your dream job, which is a 2-part series that goes from preparing your job search packet that you send out to everybody to tell about your research plans, as well as interviews and chalk talks and negotiating. We're going to try to cover all of that in a couple of exciting webinars. We talked about mentoring and ORS Connect. Thank you again, Kurt, for highlighting those. And as mentioned, the MyORS provides you the opportunity to interact in this online community, find a mentor, start discussions, access your colleagues in the ORS and others as we discussed. So Kurt highlighted some of the awards that are available. I wanted to just take a moment to highlight these that are particularly relevant for new investigators. There's the Collaborative Exchange Award, which will allow you to go to someone else's lab for a short-term experience to learn a new technique or set up a collaboration. There's the New Investigator Recognition Award, or NIRA Award, which is a great accomplishment that helps to highlight the significance of your work that's presented at the annual meeting. And there are also travel awards in orthopedic research translation. For established investigators, there are quite a few awards as well, and I'm very happy to highlight the one on the bottom of that list, which is the newest award that's going to recognize outstanding mentors starting next year. So that's another way in which this committee is really seeking to support the interest of new investigators in recognizing the critical contributions that ORS members make in mentoring the next generation. So that's what I had to share with you today. Again, I would like to welcome you and encourage you to be proactive in finding ways to get involved. We really welcome your input, and I'd love to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Alliston. So again, questions have to go in the menu on the right side of your screen there. Just a couple things I want to follow up and mention is that the grant writing workshop does have a very limited number of seats, so you're encouraged to register as soon as possible. The new investigator workshop is also limited seats, and that deadline is January 15th. So one question that's come through for either of you is, can you talk a little bit more about the interaction with the European Orthopedic Research Society, and is there any membership benefit associated with the counterpart, the European ORS?
Kurt, do you want to take that one?
I guess about the only thing that I am familiar with is the combined meeting, which there was a combined meeting this last this fall. Beyond that, I guess I'm not entirely sure what the interactions are. Could Matt or Yola, do you have any comments to make about any of those interactions with the European organization besides the combined meeting?
Well, this is Yola. Except the combined meeting, it's more on individual basis, and we can actually prepare some document to show people what the connections might be. But my ORS and just mingling and networking at the meeting would be the best.
So I can speak to this in a more broad context, which is just returning from the fall meeting of the ORS Board of Directors. A major part of our conversation was focused on how can we increasingly make strong connections with partner societies from other countries, and this would be a great opportunity for the people who are here, the new members, to offer input on what are the things that would be meaningful to you. How can your ORS membership be more valuable by building bridges with the societies that you're already participating in. I think that we are trying to come up with creative and meaningful ways to add benefit, and so your suggestions are welcome.
Great. And then there's also a thing, can you maybe expand a little bit on the funding opportunities that are for members only for the associate versus the full members?
You know, I was thinking about that today. The Collaborative Exchange Award is probably the one that I'd like to highlight the most, and I would really refer you to the ORS website to get the details of that. I'm not sure what the deadlines and the specific criteria are, but those are the ones that are offered through the ORS. They're in that awards and the funding section of the website. I think that one in particular is geared towards supporting new investigators and learning new skills. There are a variety of different travel awards that are based on abstracts that are submitted, and I'm not sure at what point those notifications are being sent out, but I know that's another one of the types of awards that's available for members.
Great, thank you. Dr. Hankinson, you also went to your My ORS webpage. Are all of the options active and ready to go? Like, is Find a Mentor option activated and ready to go?
Yeah, I mean it is active. Now the question is how many people have signed up to be mentors. So it's something that I think it's a still developing tool that I think is extremely useful. But what we'll have to do is continue to promote both people who are looking for mentors, mentees, as well as mentors to get signed up. So the larger the community of people interested in serving those roles, then the more useful it will be. Tamara, do you have any other thoughts about that?
I think you got that right on, Kurt.
So it is a web tool that we're still working on developing and finalizing. So we need to encourage people to sign up as mentors, and that's definitely a membership benefit. So I just want to remind everybody, if there aren't any more questions, I don't see, if there's any unanswered questions that we didn't get through, will be answered offline, and the answers will be sent to all of the attendees. So As a reminder, this webinar is going to be uploaded to the ORS website's mentoring section in a coming week. You'll be notified via email when the recording is available. On the website, you will also find information about other resources and programming for new investigators, including this Find a Mentor resource. The grant funding, professional networking, and the annual meeting is in New Orleans this year, and we hope you will join us for that meeting. Lastly, when you exit the webinar today, you'll be asked to complete a short evaluation, and we would appreciate if you could complete that and make any suggestions so that we can improve activities for moving forward. Your input is greatly appreciated. Tamara or Kurt, did you have any final thoughts?
No, just welcome to the Society and thank you for joining us today.
Great.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for your attention and welcome to the Society.
So thank you everyone in advance for completing this survey and for joining us today, and thank you to both of our speakers. We really appreciate it. And this concludes our Maximize Your ORS Membership webinar.